What is up, guys? What is going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another live. Really excited to be here. I hope everyone's doing well on this nice Saturday. Oh man, it's been a little while since I did one of these lives, but excited to be back. The lives are always fun. I guess it hasn't been too long. I think the last one I did was maybe like a month ago. Let me check, make sure we got audio. Everything sounds good. Really excited to be here. I hope everyone sounds good to me. Anyway, yeah, these are always a lot of fun, so I hope you guys are excited. As always, if you have any questions or anything like that, drop them in the chat. Let's get this going, and we'll go from there. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Some new things, kind of going on, and we can definitely talk about a couple of cool ideas, some cool tricks, and anything else you guys want to talk about. Dawn, hey Dawn, what is going on? Welcome to the live. Hope you're doing well. While I wait for some people to get in here, let me do the usual housekeeping things. So yeah, drop your questions in the chat. As always, happy to answer those. If you want to be notified for these lives, the two best ways are to either turn on notifications on the channel. So you go to the little notification bell, turn that on. Or if you head over to my website, you can join my email list, and I usually send out a email when I'm doing these lives, usually like a day before or that sort of thing. So, hey Mike, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hope all is well since our lesson we had the other day. Hope you've been able to work on some of that great material that we were talking about. What else? Big exciting news. I guess we'll start there. New project. I have a new project out. Just dropped this week. Super exciting. The biggest project I have worked on. This thing has been months and months in the making. It is the One Ahead Masterclass. Now, this is such an awesome project. A lot of people, they might hear the One Ahead and they're like, oh, I kind of know what a One Ahead is, but you don't. There's so much more that you can do, and then that goes into doing a One Ahead properly. From the subtlety to, more conceptual things like what's the difference between post-forcing or pre-forcing the word. So obviously when you're doing a one ahead, you need to leverage known information to obtain unknown information, right? And you can do that in multiple different ways. You can force the information first, so a pre-force, so you can force it after the person's thought of the freely chosen piece of information, right? So I talk about pre-forcing, post-forcing, pre-peaking, post-peaking, because they really have their own unique set of properties and sort of benefits, but you have to treat each one carefully. So we talk about all that, forces, peaks. Let me actually pull up this. You see me, and yeah. So if you go over, it's available in two spots. So one is on the channel memberships. If you go to the membership tab, or it's linked in the description, you can get access to my full membership. It's available for the wizard tier, so the full membership where you get access to the Propolis Mentalism Masterclass, my live lecture, my full mentalism course, One Ahead Masterclass, of course. This is it right here. 3 hours, 4 minutes. It's a massive, massive masterclass. So much in there. But then you get access to, my full mentalism course, which is like 40, what are we at, episode 43. So I'm breaking down every single trick, revitalizing it, revolutionizing it from the Practical Mental Magic, one of the fundamental books in mentalism. I'm teaching everything on video and revamping it. Got a really exciting one coming soon. The 20th Century Newspaper Test was a really cool little book test. So if you're interested in that, you get all of that on the Wizard membership tier. And the plus all of my big projects. The thing is, this is a month-to-month subscription, so you have to pay every month, right? And these masterclasses are so big that I know you'll kind of want to keep coming back to them. And I'm also someone who I don't, if I have the option, I'm not someone who loves a subscription model. I'd rather pay for it and kind of own it, right? So I've also given you that option. If you go over to my website, I do have all my projects available where you can get access. It's on sale right now. Currently, the One Ahead Masterclass, 25% off. So for the drop. So it's a great opportunity to get it. These are in Canadian dollars, by the way. And it's here. You can check it out, get some more info. There's a full trailer for it you can watch.
I am thrilled to announce that my biggest project to date...
And then, like there's so much stuff included, right? So we're talking forces, peaks, how to do the switch at the end, a bunch of different ideas on that. And then reveals. So the reveal is super important. We're talking about subtleties. There's like 12 different subtleties. It's crazy, like how many different ideas. It's just little things, when to say things, how to do things. But then there's some like bigger sort of mechanical subtleties that are really awesome as well. And then there's a bunch of different effects, right? I teach one of the greatest one-ahead routines I think ever devised. It's got this incredible subtlety where you can genuinely draw a question mark and an exclamation mark on the billets, one representing a prediction, one representing a reading, and you're kind of showing them the difference between prediction and mind reading. There's a full live performance in the trailer for the project, but it's really cool because you can point out, like, look, there's a question mark on yours, an exclamation mark on yours, and so there's no ambiguity about what I'm writing on this one. And you write down your prediction, and they see you writing it on the one with the question mark, and it goes into their hand, and then they can think of anything, and you prove that you've predicted it. And then on the exclamation mark, there's the reading, and then there's that beautiful subtlety of you having the exclamation mark on one, the question mark on the other, so there's no way of doing the switch, right? But it still uses the one ahead in such a clever way. So that's taught on there. That's kind of my professional one ahead. That's how I always do the one ahead now. And I have my go-to routine, some card stuff with the one ahead. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on this project. It is a really, really good project, if I do say so myself. I spent a lot of time editing. Man, this was so long to edit. Anyway, if you'd like to check out the One Ahead Masterclass, or if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. But the One Ahead is available, so it's either available on the Wizard tier of my membership on a month-to-month basis, or it is available on my website for lifetime access if you would like to just do a one-time thing. So, membership's been awesome. There's been a lot of cool stuff on there. Tomorrow there's going to be an exciting video for the regular channel. It was supposed to be episode 3 of my repertoire series. So if you're not aware, my repertoire series is basically a series that is, the purpose of it is all about how to build routines. So instead of just doing a tutorial, there's so many tutorials on YouTube, it is teaching a full routine, right? So I actually teach like a 3-phase, like full routine, opener, closer, and talk about, so not only do I teach it, but then I talk about like the structure. Why is it structured this way? So you can see kind of my thinking and then learn a lot from how is it structured, what is the premise? How do we tie all the routines together? I talk about all the different aspects of like creating a routine, basically, right? And then you have these great routines that you can go and perform. So it's a new series, so there's only 2 episodes. It's called Repertoire. If you go to the playlists on the channel, you'll see it there. The first one I taught was just kind of like a hard hitter, kind of easy, anytime, anywhere, walk around type card routine where it uses some of the like heaviest hitters, but like I think I called it like the bang for your buck routine, right? Then the second one was sort of the ultimate walk around mentalism routine. So, play big, pack small kind of mentalism routine. And there was supposed to be episode 3 coming out tomorrow, and I had filmed an awesome sort of parlor mentalism style routine that was going to be there. It was like an hour-long recording, so the video wouldn't have been an hour. Probably would have been like 40 minutes. It would have been a pretty long video, but it was a long recording, and a lot of work went into that recording, and I checked my camera the other day, and it's gone. It vanished. I don't know what happened. If I accidentally deleted it, if I never hit record in the first place, though I would be surprised because I always check to make sure the recording light's on, but it has happened once or twice before where I'm recording and I realize, I forgot to push the record button. So maybe it was that. I'm really not sure. Maybe it got corrupted and vanished, or it got overwritten by another video, because I did record the One Ahead Masterclass on the same SD, and that was like 4 hours of footage. So I'm wondering if there was some weird issue where it kind of filmed over it. I don't know. Hey David, how's it going, man? Welcome to the live. Hope you're doing well. I'll see you tomorrow for our lesson. Looking forward to that. David or Mike, I know you guys are both Wizard members. Have either of you checked out the One Ahead Masterclass yet? I'm curious if you have, what you think about it. If not, all good. But yeah, so that was supposed to be the video coming tomorrow. It was supposed to be episode 3 of Repertoire, but unfortunately it is gone. It has been wiped from existence. So I am going to refilm that at some point. It's just kind of daunting when you've already put in so much effort to filming something and it's gone, to refilm it, especially something like this. This wasn't just like a quick tutorial. This was a massive sort of video. So I have a new plan for tomorrow's video. It's going to be a sneak peek behind the curtain of the membership. So I'm gonna show you guys one of the videos from the Practical Mental Magic course, so you can kind of see what I'm doing with the course, how I'm handling it, and learn a pretty cool little mentalism trick. So that's gonna be an awesome video. Yeah, it's always exciting. Yes, looked at some of it and it's amazing. True masterclass. Thank you, David. I'm glad, man. You gotta check out all of it when you have a chance. It's a really crazy project, man. It's the biggest project I've done to date, and it was like so much work. I was even surprised I got it out in a couple of months. Like, just the amount, I'm a one-man show over here, right? The amount of editing. You think, like I always say, it's at least twice as long to edit as the length of the video. So every 1 minute of recording is at least 2 minutes of editing. Just because basically the way I edit, at least, like I'm watching the whole video. So there's already, so for the One Ahead Masterclass, I think it was 4 hours of footage plus some of the additional performances and things that I put into it. There's a performance breakdown near the end teaching you how I show you a trick that went wrong and how I saved it using the One Ahead, and I talk about that at the end of my section, all about using the One Ahead as the universal out and how to never kind of mess up a trick again. But all of that, it was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours in total of like raw footage that went into the software to do the editing, right? So I gotta watch all that footage, oh, sorry guys, I have a little bit of allergies these days, and I just feel like I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I think we're good. So you can imagine there's like 5 hours of raw footage. Not only do I have to watch all of that, right? So there's 5 hours of me just sitting here watching it. I got to edit it. And so I always say like it's a 2-to-1. So really it's like 10 hours at least of work, but there was much more than that. And then there's all the planning, right? All the planning of the shoot, which takes hours and hours, days, planning all the content. And then there's testing out a lot of the material. Well, I guess I didn't have to test a lot of it because it's I use the One Ahead all the time, so a lot of it's just teaching kind of some stuff already in my repertoire. But Blue Apple, hey Blue Apple, what is going on, man? Hope you're doing well. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. But you got to. Then there's the 5 hours of just actually filming all that. I had to actually sit in front of the camera and talk for 5 hours. I had to do that over a few days. And then, actually once you get in there and start doing all of the editing, it's just months and months just, to get this done. It's, plus keeping the channel up and running. Then you're talking about making trailers and ad copy and filming live performances. And it's a lot of work, Mike says, I've watched an hour of it. He's talking about the One Ahead Masterclass, my new project that just dropped. And I'm blown away. Simple subtleties that I'd never thought of. I'll watch the rest later. Yeah, Mike, that was one of the big reasons I wanted to do this. So I appreciate that, first of all. Definitely watch the rest of it. I know you'll love it. There's a lot of good stuff in there for you, especially once you get to the effects near the end. But the thing is, like, I've always wanted, the One Ahead, I feel there's so much you can do with it. So many ideas. And I think a lot of people do the same thing with it, or they don't use it because they don't understand it. I think a lot of people struggle to understand, how the framework of the one ahead works, right? So I've given like these very, very simple rules that you can apply to any situation, any sort of one ahead that you find yourself in, right? So like one of the rules is like always opposite, right? So if you always are thinking, always do the opposite. What that means is when you're, sometimes people get confused. You're like, okay, this person has the known information. This person has the unknown information. Who do I start with? Which information do I write on the billet? So I give you all these like very simple rules. So always start on the unknown is one rule. Always think the opposite is another rule. So when you're looking at someone with a certain piece of information in their mind, if you know what it is, you always write the opposite. So if you know this person's thinking of 4 diamonds and this person's thinking of John, when you're going to write, or you might not know they're thinking of John, but they're thinking of a name. When you go to write down the name, do not write a name, right? You have to write the opposite. It's always opposite, right? That's the thing I talk about. And I also released my Mentalism 101 video on the one ahead, which I've been wanting to do for a while, which is kind of like the basics. I actually just stripped a lot of footage from the one ahead masterclass, but you can see how much you're missing. I think that video is 30 or 40 minutes, and the one ahead masterclass is 3 hours. And I just took kind of the basics, just to give you an understanding of the one ahead, a couple of ideas, and sort of a basic routine with it, right? And I think that's super, super important to understand. Let's see. I saw your one ahead video and I just understood the meaning of mentalism. And from then, every day, that's what I do pretty much exclusively. Yeah, man, if you liked the one ahead video, that's just like a snippet, right? That's like some gold. But if you want like the true diamonds, check out the one ahead masterclass. I'm glad you found that video helpful, man. That's what it's all about. And the one ahead is such a strong principle. So I'm glad that you liked it. But that's kind of just scratching the surface of what you can do with this. So go check out the one ahead masterclass. So the full 3-hour masterclass, you can either join my membership on the Wizard tier, or you can check it out on my website. It's available for lifetime access purchase if you'd like. But it's an awesome project. You'll learn 20 times more things about the one ahead and how to really take it up to the next level. That way, with some incredible sort of subtleties and all that. So that's what it's all about. For me, when you're performing mentalism, it's all about the subtlety. I'm a big believer in tried and true methods. I don't use a lot of new style things, right? Where you're talking electronic impressions and all these other what else? All these I do use some apps, but not there's something I'm missing that's on the tip of my tongue. That's why I keep hesitating. Anyway, all the electronic stuff. For me, the tried and true methods are always better often, I find, or at least more practical in the environments that I perform in. And I'm not saying there aren't some great things like the Lumini or the trilogy there by Audience Wonderland is fantastic. But again, it's I don't know, I'll always opt for a billet, and that's just me. Maybe call me stubborn, but I think the tried and true methods are so good. And that's one of the, this is one of the reasons why I've developed the mentalism course right over on the mentalism on the membership, the practical mental magic course. If you don't know, practical mental magic is, no, it's not there. I have it actually in my closet, so let me grab it. Okay, this book right here by Theodore Anneman. It is the godfather of mentalism books. So, I this was written, I think, in the 40s 48, something like that, 44 maybe. There it is, 1944. See, I'm a historian. I got my knowledge down. Anyway, Theodore Animan, one of my favorites. But unfortunately, the title "Practical Mental Magic" is not so relevant anymore. You have these things that were written up, almost 100 years ago now. Like, we're getting there, and it's like they're talking about using phone books, right? Like, they're talking about, he talks about where to get billets, and he tells you to go to a printing press and have them, like, cut them for you, right? It's kind of crazy. Here, let me finish my thought. Just hold on. I just want to read this comment. When's the repertoire episode 3? Lance, yeah. Hey, by the way, welcome to the live. Lance, I just finished talking about it. Repertoire episode 3 was supposed to come out tomorrow, but I lost all the footage. It got deleted. So it was going to be an awesome one. I'm going to refilm it at some point. Hopefully in the next week or two, next Sunday or two after this Sunday, I'll try to get it out. But I got to refilm it. It was like an hour long footage lost, so it really sucks. But I don't know what happened. Maybe I didn't hit record. Maybe it got corrupted. I don't know. The footage is gone. So different video tomorrow. Something that I can get out quicker because I only have like a day to get it out. I haven't even filmed it yet because I thought I had this footage ready to go. Anyway. It's coming though. It's coming. It has been a little while since the last one. I also prefer gimmickless mentalism. Totally agree. We should touch on that actually. Let me circle back to that once I finish my practical mental magic thing. And then Blue Apple says, I have this book though I haven't read it. Planning to read it soon. Well, here's the brilliant thing, man. So I love this book, but again, if you read it, a lot of the stuff you're not going to be able to use. There's a lot of fantastic fundamentals in here, but it's just not practical anymore. Whether it's the premises, like they used to be really interested in mediums and convincing people they're psychics, and a lot of people don't really like that now. So a lot of these plots are like communicating to the dead and stuff, especially in the Dead or Alive chapter. And then the methods some of them are crazy. Like one of them, I'll tell you guys a story about. Like, there's this one method in here, I forget the name of the effect, but the method was you'd be in a pitch black room. So you first of all, talk about performance restrictions. You can only perform this trick in a pitch black room, like zero light, no windows. Okay, so first of all, I got to find a pitch black room every time I want to do this. You'd have a clipboard with carbon paper underneath it. So carbon paper is what they used to use for impression pads. So it's the paper that would like transfer, the carbon, I guess, to the page below, right? So it would leave an impression. And you'd put this underneath a page on a clipboard. You'd hand them a clipboard. You'd go in the corner of the room. All the lights would be off. They would just write down a word, and you'd be able to reveal the word that they were thinking of in a pitch black room. Now, from an effect, that's really, really cool. Obviously, not so practical because you got to be in a dark room, and just wait till you hear what the method was. But, you would... you'd be in the other corner of the room and you'd be able to read their mind in the pitch black, which is super cool because it kind of kills all the methodologies of peaks and that sort of thing. But the method was you would tie a piece of fishing line to the piece of carbon paper, right? That's inside the clipboard that they're holding. And then you'd grab the fishing line and you'd walk it to the other side of the room. So you'd have the fishing line in one hand. Then after they write it down, somehow covertly you're supposed to yank on the fishing line and tug the carbon paper out of the clipboard that they're holding on to, or maybe they'd set it down, but you'd tug it and you'd reel the piece of carbon paper towards you in the corner of the room, and then you'd have this like flashlight that you'd put this cover over so it wouldn't really like light up much, and then you could just kind of like secretly like peek it while your back's turned to them. Like, insane. Who's tying fishing line and fishing, for the whole mentalism? Like, anyway, as you can see, if you just read that from Practical Mental Magic, you'll think, oh, that's terrible, and you'll just skip it, right? So there's a couple of reasons I wanted to do the course. So if you don't know, the course on my membership, so if you join the mentalist tier of my membership, that's the middle tier, you get access to the full course. So every Practical Mental Magic video. I mean, the book was written during a world war. Yeah, for sure, exactly. Like, that's my point. it's not practical anymore, right? Even though, ironically, the title is Practical Mental Magic. So with the course, I wanted to, one, teach the whole book on video, because I think, and again, it's harder to understand a lot of these tricks. You're given like just chunks of text, right? There's very few images in this. It's very much like, you know, all text. It's hard to understand. A lot of people like to learn on video, so the first goal, teach the whole book on video. There's like over 200 effects in this book. It's like 310 pages. So a huge project, but that's the goal. Teach every single effect from start to finish. Don't miss a single thing on video, but then revolutionize the book, right? So if the plot is very dated, then I'll change up the plot and give you new ideas on the plot. But a lot of times it's the method that's very dated. So I'm coming up with literally brand new effects. I'll touch on, give you a little history lesson at the beginning of the episode. So for example, I think I just taught the 20th century book test, and we're going in order. So the 20th century book test is the 43rd trick in this book. So far on the membership, there's 43 episodes. I know it's crazy, but I'm doing one trick per episode. And I just hit a quarter of the book. I've just hit the quarter mark. So at the pace that I'm going, I release about 2 videos a month on the membership. So it's probably going to take another 4 years to get through this book, but I'm sticking to it. I am absolutely fully committed to getting through this entire book and creating this ultimate resource for the fundamentals of mentalism, and kind of just an homage to one of my favorite books and one of the best resources for starting out in mentalism in general. So that's goal number 1, teach the whole thing, but then it's also revolutionize these. So in each video, right, like the 20th century newspaper test, in that one, that had, actually, I'm thinking of a different one. Hold on, I need to refresh my mind. I've taught so many 20th century newspaper tests, I need to remind myself. Oh yeah, okay. Right, so the method for that one is pretty decent, right? But he was like talking about grabbing a newspaper and ripping out page numbers of a newspaper, and like, having them all, and then doing a book test with newspaper. So like, I wanted to do it with a book, obviously something a little bit more practical. Pretty much no one has newspaper these days. But then you having to rip out, entire pages from your book, which for some people is fine, and I still give you that as an option. Because what you would do is you'd rip out the corners where all the page numbers are, and then you'd basically have someone mix all the corners up and pick a corner. And then they'd flip to that page and they'd think of a word and you can tell them what it is. So I gave you that option, but then I've changed it up where you can actually do this, where you don't damage the book, but it's really the same effect. It's using a similar method. And you Sensei, I just joined but late. Welcome, Magical Rids. Magical Rids 33, let's call it that. Which is the best type of magic. Totally agree, man. Yeah, this practical stuff is the best type. So, I see a couple of questions. I'm going to get to those in a second. Just let me finish my little story here. So, that's it, right? It's changing up parts of the method. There's the episode that's coming out in about 10 days. So I release videos on the Mentalism course on the 15th and 30th of every month. So on the September 30th, there's this crazy method again. There's a picture of this one. So basically what you would do is you'd have this wire and you'd put it through one page of the book, and this would be your force page. And then you'd tie a ribbon to the other end of the wire, and they could then take that ribbon and insert it in any page they'd like. But you would then have the wire sticking out this end of the book. And somehow you're supposed to hide that from them. There's massive wire that you just, you have a little loop that you can stick to your finger, right? And then, let me pull up the diagram again. And the idea was, once they so let's say the wire is on this page, that is my force page, and they put the ribbon in here. Well, if you imagine, the wire runs through the book and it's sticking out here, but then on this side it's attached to the ribbon, and then the ribbon goes back through this way. So if you now pull the wire, it's going to pull the ribbon out of the page they put it in and back and snake into the page the force page, right? So you can kind of see it from the diagram here, and then you pull it, and it basically puts the ribbon there. And then you need to disattach the wire and ditch it and hide it, and like the way he again the I think people were a lot easier to fool in the 40s, right? Like you could get away with these things, but he would just kind of say like, oh, you just do it, you pull it, they won't see it. Like obviously that's not really practical. So I've come up with this really cool method where you do again, it's all about, for me, keeping the inspiration of the old effects, right? So the plot for this one's good. I really like the plot, but the method sucks. So the method now is, you let them take a playing card and insert it wherever they'd like, right? And you literally can push it in and then hand them the book instantly, and they open up, they find that playing card, and that's the page, and you're able to have that all under your control. So that's kind of the concept of the Mentalism course. Teach everything, get it on video, but then revolutionize one of my favorite Mentalism books. So we're 43 episodes in out of 200 something, so there's a lot more to go. So if you're interested in that, the Mentalist tier of my membership gets you access to just the course, and the Wizard tier gets you access to the course along with all of my big projects, masterclasses, One Ahead Masterclass, Propless Masterclass, my live lecture, and a bunch of other stuff that's coming soon. So let me jump into some of these questions. What's the most expensive trick you have bought? I think it's a trick that I really regret. You know what? I'm not someone who spends a lot on magic, especially magic props, because if you know my performance style, it's very minimal. Like my everyday carry is billets, a Sharpie, and a deck of cards. So like, as much as I love that, electronic impression pad by Audience Wonderland, I mean the one that's like 2K or whatever, it's super good. And you know what? It's not like it wouldn't be worth it for me. Like I can make the money back at a gig, right? Like it's not the money, right? But it's just not the right fit for me currently with the magic I like to do, with the style, with the impromptu nature, with the practicality, with like learning how to just really master what I think are the most important things, which I'd say I have, but then learn to make them better rather than just jumping to the next thing, right? Like improve what's already there. And I've had amazing success with these methods. Like, yes, there's a really nice, like they have their one impression pad that you can insert into a card box. So I could literally just put a post-it note on a card box, hand it to someone, they write it, and I can know instantly what it is from my phone. But like, then I gotta have a special pen, right? I gotta have this box with me everywhere. Like, I would just rather, when they come out with the impression pad, that I know there's some like impression pens now that are starting to come out. There's still none that are really great or look really real. But if they come out, I know they have that jumbo Sharpie, but if they come out with a regular impression Sharpie that's fully self-contained and doesn't need special paper, because all of the ones right now need this special paper. It's not really a big deal, you just print it, but again, it's these little hurdles that I'm kind of putting up, whether valid or not. For me, it's like there's these little hurdles that, aren't worth it for me, just in the nature of how I want to perform and how I enjoy performing. Like I can easily do all of my material with literally just this and my phone, right? So when it comes to expensive things, the most expensive things I generally buy would be apps, right? And I enjoy apps, but they have to sort of have a really good routine around them. That's why I love Wikitest so much, because it's just such a deceptive, like it doesn't feel like an app at all, right? Where there are some apps that feel a lot more like an app. So I think the most expensive thing I bought was an app, and I think it was Duality Pro. I don't like it at all. I won't lie. I really don't like it. I think it was $250 US or something. I did get it on sale, luckily, so I didn't waste that much money on it. I think I paid maybe 200-ish, 200 and a bit Canadian or something. No, it's not good. Don't get it. I would save your money. Look, the concept is great, and if you don't know Duality, it's an app that gives you the ability to play a video and you can input information while the video is already playing, so it'll change and it'll like live edit that information into the video. So a lot of people use it for like a number prediction. So you can film a video of yourself, and it's cool because you can customize it. There's a video of yourself standing there holding a pad. You literally just hit play on the video, and in the video you're like, hey, think of a number. What number did you go for? And then the person in real life, your spectator, will say, 72, and then you turn around the pad and it says 72. And so the method, I don't think I'm giving too much away. It just, there's input methods, and it live updates the video, which it's really cool, really clever idea. And there's so many ideas I had for this. The biggest issue is the app is horrendous. It is terribly built. It is terribly upkept. It is one of the worst user interfaces I've ever seen. And I met the people at Blackpool behind it, and I just didn't get a sense that there was any urgency to fix it. Like, I think it came out, it was probably good when it came out, but it's just garbage now. Like, it's barely usable. It looks terrible. It doesn't look real at all. So I never use it. It's just not good. If they update it and put some serious, development into it, it can be fantastic, right? I think the effect is really good, but I just can't even, not that I can't. First of all, it's almost impossible to use. Like, I'm very good with technology, and I can use it. I can get it to work and edit it, but it's just the what's the word? The user interface and the look of it is just awful, right? It doesn't look like it's believable at all. It's a terrible interface. So they need to update that. If they do and they fix it, I'm happy to, give it probably a good review. But right now it's just, and it was expensive. And for something like that, you would hope that they keep it updated. Like, that's why I love buying, Mark Kirstein's apps or David Jonathan's shortcuts. Like, they do a very good job at the upkeep. And that's always the problem with these apps, right? I don't even care so much about the app and the effect as much as I care about who's producing it, right? That's, I think, where you have to be more thoughtful when you're buying apps. So, not very practical, definitely not very practical. Why don't you teach us crazy routines related to mobile phones? Maybe borrowed, maybe ours, things from borrowed spectators. I don't do a ton of stuff with borrowed objects. Like, the only thing I ever borrow is someone's phone, right? Like, I'm not the type of guy who's borrowing rings or borrowing this, because I'm such a minimal performer. Like, no one's gonna have a deck of cards on me to borrow. No one's gonna have a pen or a Sharpie, nor would they need to. And it doesn't make any difference if I borrow those objects. And then same thing with my billets, right? Like, the only thing is a borrowed phone. And some of the apps that I can do with a borrowed phone, I will do. I've one interesting thing that lately I've come to learn is I've always been someone who wasn't sold on the idea of doing things on a borrowed phone, right? A lot of apps these days are very much people think it's make or break whether you can do it on a borrowed phone. And I really don't think it is. It just, again, it comes down to your justification, how you justify it, if you make it, all these things. And I think a lot about justifications in my scripting and that. I'll give you an example. If I don't remember to circle back to justifications, someone remind me, because it's a good story. I think you'll find useful. But basically, a lot of these apps, like one that comes to mind is Decode, David Jonathan. It's more of a shortcut than an app, but it's a really great project. It allows you essentially to scan any QR code or barcode and have that pull up anything you want, right? So you can do really cool predictions, and there's a really cool ACAN effect where you can scan the barcode on the bottom of a bicycle deck, right? They name a card, you scan on the bottom of the bicycle deck, and it pops up sort of like an instructions, follow these instructions to perform a magic trick. And they follow the instructions, and it's basically just take out the cards, deal down to the 12th card, the 40th card, whatever, and they do that and they find their card, because Decode allows you to alter what that barcode scans to in real time. So it's really good, and he came out with this way to do it on the spectator's phone, right? And I really love, someone who's working on their projects and always trying to improve it and add to it. And that's one thing I do. If you buy the sort of the lifetime access to, or sorry, if you buy like my J38 can project, for example, that you get access to the page, you get your password, and you can constantly sign up there. And I'm constantly adding new ideas and videos because I think it's always good to continue to bring value. But and so I really appreciate that. But for me, I was never sold on the idea of like, I don't really think I need to do it on someone else's phone. Yes, I understand people are going to say, oh, well then they won't think it's something with your phone. And the whole point of this story is that I realized that more recently that there is a relevance to it in certain situations, very specific situations. And that comes down to who you're performing for. So, with regular, everyday people, it genuinely does not matter. Most people aren't thinking about that if the effect is constructed well and it doesn't feel like the phone's all that important. But the one situation where it does matter is generally if you're more of like a corporate performer, and like for me, when I do corporate gigs, like from time to time I'll get tech companies, right? And so I was doing this gig for this tech company a few weeks ago, and I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication between what I was offering and what they needed, right? I don't think they knew what they needed, and I'll take the blame for that. I should have dug in a little bit deeper into what they were thinking. I thought I knew what they wanted. It went great. It was just I kind of had to think more on my feet than I would have liked to, right? When you go into a gig, you just kind of want to go in, do your thing, be prepared, do the usual, the stuff I'm comfortable with, and I did. But basically, the discrepancy was I was booked for walk around, and I showed up. It ended up being more of a walk around at first, and then people were so into it that they started to gather around, and there wasn't as many people as they had thought. So then it turned into a little bit more of like a close-up show, which is not ideal. But the problem is, well, now I'm just planning to do. I had 3 or 4 sets ready that I was just gonna. Normally, I might even have only 2 sets, right? 2 sets of 3 or 4 tricks, and I just do those over and over and walk around. But I had prepared 4 sets because I knew there was a little bit less people than realistically I would have enough material for like 2 hours that I was hired for. So I prepared more sets so I could go back and do more stuff to the same groups. But now all these people are watching at the same time, and it's like you're burning through your material and you don't want to repeat. The reason I bring this up is, I mean, it was totally fine. I thought on my feet, went into some other material that I wasn't really planning on doing, but it's fine. And I had thought beforehand I should avoid any tech-related magic because they're a tech company and they're going to assume. And that was a very wise decision until I started to get to a point where it's like, what do I have on me? I have my phone, so I'm going to start to go into some tech magic when I'm kind of freestyling here. And a couple of the things, this was the first time I've ever had it where, I did one effect and the guy was like, oh, I could build that. Like, I could make that. He's like, and I was able to really play it off like it wasn't exactly what he thought it was. Like, he's like, oh, I could build that. I'm like, well, I can't. I don't know how to, because they don't know that, there's a whole market and stuff. So, I don't know that there's or I couldn't build that. And he's like, yeah, like, it was cool, but like I could just build an app that does that, right? So it's like that taught me, and the feedback that I got in those moments were it would be a lot, because I convinced them that it had nothing to do with an app or my phone. They believed it, but then they said, well, it would be much better if you did it on my phone then. Like, if it's not an app, they're like, well, you should have just done it on our phone. I'm like, yeah, maybe next time, the kind of thing. I played it off. But it showed me that there is validity in certain instances, but I think it just depends on the people. And I think it's if you find someone in tech, I think that's the answer. Anyway, kind of a long-winded story, but it was interesting for sure. And I'm not super sold on like needing to do things on other people's phones. What was the question I was even answering? Anyway, yeah, I'm talking about borrowed stuff. So, but there are a few apps that I do on people's borrowed phones. Earworm is one of them that I really love to do on a borrowed device. And I think, you know what? I used to think that Earworm needed to be done on another person's device, but there's this new release coming out by David Jonathan that I am filming some live performances for and helping out with the trailer and that sort of thing. So I've been performing it a lot lately, and it's really, really good. But but it's similar to Earworm, and Earworm's like a song prediction, right? Where you can put a prediction on their phone, you set it down their phone, they name a song, they turn it over and or turn up the volume, and the song's playing on their phone. Incredible effect, awesome. I do it all the time. David's version is different in structure, different in method, but the main difference, I guess, is that it happens on your phone. And I used to think, well, it's going to be less strong because it happens on my phone. It ain't. It really ain't. Unless you're doing it for like that, again, the tech company sort of people. People aren't thinking that, oh, there's this shortcut running in the background of this app or whatever it is, right? So, all that to say, it's not it's not as big of a deal as I used to think it was. Okay, a lot of questions coming through. Let me get through all of these. What's the best type of magic? The best type of magic is the magic that you like to perform, I would say. The magic that you're interested in, the magic that you're the most comfortable with. Because that's when people can see that you're enjoying it and you're like sort of being genuine, they'll always appreciate it more and enjoy it more, right? Vedant Magic, welcome to the live, man. Welcome. I see you have a question. I'm just going through an order, so I'm going to answer that in a second. I'm curious though, have you watched, I know you're on the Wizard tier, have you checked out the One Ahead Masterclass yet? If so, let me know what you think. If not, you should watch it. It's awesome. Reed, I really like your type of, hi Reed, Pex, I don't know how to say your name. I'm just going to say Pex. What's going on, man? Welcome. Reed, I really think your type of performing is amazing. It's very similar to what I do too. You do a super clean mentalism with normal everyday objects, exactly the type of magic I love. Totally, man. Yeah, that's absolutely my style, right? I think I've taught, you can see that in a lot of my teachings on the channel. That's what I'm interested in. And then if any of my work, any of my projects, they're all very much in that spirit. If you're interested, I think the best place for learning more of my style of mentalism is on the Wizard membership there. I think there's a lot of great stuff. Plot is crazy, but method sucks. Totally agree. That's the trick we were talking about earlier from Practical Mental Magic, and the one that I've had to update in my mentalism course. What is your favorite propless mentalism routine? My two favorites are Midas Touch. So it's PK Touch's Effect by Pete Turner. I don't do it as much because it just takes the right environment, people, sort of thing. But it's incredible, when you get the chance to perform it. And then more traditional, like mind reading type trick would probably be released is Protus or Mind Peak. Mind Peak is the name of the trick. Protus is the name of the book where you can get it from, by Fedon Bilic. It's a propless drawing duplication. That's probably the trick I have the most success with proplessly, that I really, really love, and I really just get incredible hits with, incredible reactions. It's easy. It's awesome. I mean, it's not the easiest thing. No propless mentalism is easy. And then there's a couple of really good effects from my propless mentalism masterclass. I have a really cool, system for guessing like names or animals, and then my playing card guess. I really love my playing card guess. I do it all the time. I've actually taught it here on the channel. It's called Mind Games. I think I taught it my 2K. I went back when I had 2,000 subscribers. I taught it to celebrate that. And what else? Okay. So there's a really. I'll give you a little sneak peek. There is some couple of propless mentalism projects that I am currently working on for myself, like my own releases, that I think are going to change the game in a couple of different ways. One of them, propless birthday guess, but no risk. Really solid. Go up to anyone, guess their birthday. So, really excited to bring that. It needs more work. It's still going to be a while till it comes out. It needs more work. It needs more time. Needs more performance. Needs more road testing. But so far, so good. And then I see someone asked about Enigma. I think I've cracked the code on the propless word guess. Just like any word, guess a word. Kind of the holy grail of mentalism, right? Someone thinks of any word and you can guess it with no props. I think I might have cracked the code. I came up with this thing on the plane ride back from Blackpool last year. I was thinking about this idea, or I was trying to find a way to do this. You know what? An enigma did have an inspiration in a way, where I saw, so let's say my thoughts on enigma, I got it, and I really like, again, the thinking behind it. Essentially, it just boils down to like another language, right? It's like speaking in another language, which is cool. And it's like if you understand the language but your spectators don't, then it seems like mind reading, right? Which is a really, really clever concept. So I like that. You know what? I don't perform it. I think there is some issues with it in terms of environment and having people, like, you know what? They're not major issues, and I'm sure if I spent more time with it, a lot of them would probably be resolved. But again, it's just not something that I would ever see myself performing frequently, professionally, or kind of out on the streets, which are the two places that I love performing. So it's good. It's good, but it's going to take time, dedication. It's not, one of these easy things. But the concept of, this is where Enigma maybe inspired my idea a bit, was like this whole another language. Like, what if you could have people basically tell you the word they're thinking of in another language, but a language that only you understand, right? And so then I started thinking about that, and I'm like, well, how could this be done proplessly? So then the problem with Enigma is the language, unless you spend, years learning the language yourself, then you could maybe do it proplessly, but that's probably not realistic for most people. So then the other option is, well, what if I have an app that can decode the language for me? And that's essentially what Enigma is. But I was like, well, how do you make the language that it's not something you have to learn? And so I've come up with this language that is something that you don't have to learn, right? It's someone just tells you the language, and intuitively you can know what the word is without having to learn the language. Like, you just need to... It's almost like if someone told you their word backwards. Think of it like that. Like, if I'm thinking of the word, cat, and I told you tack, and you knew that all you had to do to decode the language was reverse the letters, it's very easy. You don't have to learn the language, you just need to know the rule, right? Something like that. Obviously, it's not that, and it's way more deceptive. So I have this idea, and I've been fleshing it out for the last bunch of months since Blackpool. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the thing is, I haven't missed on it yet. And that's the thing that needs more testing. I'm like, it can't be as surefire and deceptive as it feels. Like, I'm kind of in awe, and so I just need to keep performing it and just like really make sure this is the real deal. But it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I do a lot of propless stuff. Always fun. Where do you perform? I'm based out of Toronto, Canada, so around Toronto and the greater Toronto area. Corporate events, private events, weddings, and then street magic. Street magic's the best place to perform, man. My favorite. What are your favorite apps? Favorite apps are Wikitest, whatever's on the front page of my app folder, which my app folder I call Other, just in case someone sees it. I don't call it Magic Apps. Ooh, I can't show that. Don't go back and look at that. I showed something I'm not supposed to show yet. Anyway, it's fine. So on that list there was iThump, DFB, which is new for me. I finally bought DFB, and that's one of the topics I wanted to talk about in this live. So Wikitest, Earworm are my two favorite effects that are apps. iThump is my favorite utility tool, I would say. Subliminal is another of my favorite utility instead of utility tool, let's call that a reveal tool, subliminal. So a way to kind of take up your mentalism to the next level. Like, mentalism, it's a lot of think of something, I guess it. Well, how can we have them think of something and then you guess it and then have a kicker? Subliminal is the best way to do that in sort of the practical sense. Another utility tool that's my favorite is Inertia Pro. So most of those are Mark Kirstein apps. Again, I'm all about the person behind the apps more so than the apps, because you want someone who you trust that will keep the app up and running. And then recently I bought DFB X. I never even owned DFB. So a lot of people, that's their favorite app, Digital Force Bag. I didn't even own DFB until literally like a month ago. I bought DFB X. I finally caved. It's not that I didn't think it was great. I just always had other ways of doing it, particularly using Inertia, because Inertia is another forcing tool. But I finally caved, and I have a couple of really cool ideas with DFBX that I want to share with you guys. And then the shortcut stuff, Decode, I like to use, and I still like Cognito, quite like Cognito. And yeah, those are kind of my top guns. What else do we got? What's the best pin divination you know? I used to have my own, but it doesn't really work anymore with the new iOS updates. It used to use the calculator, and this, I think it was a Michael Murray idea originally. This, I think it was called the Calendar Peak or something. And it kind of used that, but like a different version of it, and then this really cool scripting. So I don't really do pin unlocks these days anymore, if I'm being honest. If I were to do it, I might just do probably with a billet, to be honest, a billet, or using Iris. So Iris is my new favorite mentalism tool. It is a small-ish, under the radar, I guess, release from the Daily Magician and Stephen Bridges, believe it or not, of all people. This thing is incredible. It is basically, it's not an app, it's not a shortcut, it's basically a glitch. It's not even a glitch, because it's like, I think it's an intentional functionality of the phone. If it's a glitch, I would worry that it would get patched one day, right? Like, basically, apparently it works on Android phones too, but you don't need an Android, because you're using the spectator's phone. So as long as they have an iPhone. I wouldn't do it on an Android, because I think it works on some. It works on all iPhones. So if my audience has an iPhone, it's great. Basically allows them to, because it's a built-in feature, really. It's not like a feature that you think of like, series of feature. Like, it's a built-in feature. It's just sort of a consequence of how the phones work, that you can use this really clever way to peek anything, and it works in almost any app. Like, it's just incredible, and it's anytime, anywhere, no apps, no shortcuts, their phone, like everything I love. I remember reading the ad copy when it first came out, and I was like, this is just impossible. They're definitely lying. But for whatever reason, and thank God I did, I had an inclination. Like, normally when I think they're lying, I can usually figure out where they're lying or what they're omitting, and so then I just don't buy it, or I'm like, okay, well, I don't mind that, and I will buy it, right? This one I was like, I have no idea how they could, like, every possible thing, they said it's not. Like, everything. So I'm like, okay, they must be lying. That's what I thought. But and normally if I think they're lying, I just won't buy it. But for some reason, I was like, you know what? It was actually, I know the reason. It was very inexpensive. So I'm like, fine, I'll just see what it is. And I was absolutely blown away. And I really don't get blown away by much. I don't buy much magic. And it's incredible. Iris. 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 It's just a utility tool. You just learn how to use it, and you just take advantage of it on anyone's phone. And actually, I think I saw the first review of it. Finally, one of the big review channels reviewed it. Steve Faulkner, he reviewed it. If you want to see a review. My review is 10 out of 10. Incredible. I have had a few issues in actual performance with it, with people following the instruction, because they just have to kind of do things in a certain way. And so I'm just still working on it myself, learning how to refine the performance in the best way. But it's worked most of the time, and when it doesn't, I just move into the One Ahead. Check out the One Ahead masterclass to learn exactly how to do that. Yeah. Where can I watch FISM performances? I have no idea, man. I think on YouTube. I've seen some on YouTube. How often do you use anagrams? All the time. I use a lot of anagrams, and I am going to be working on an anagram masterclass probably as my next project for the wizard tier. Maybe 2 projects from now. So that's a big thing I want to put a masterclass out on, because I think a lot of people are doing anagrams wrong. I have a ton of work on anagrams and how to make them super deceptive. So that is one of my next projects. So stay tuned. What are some of your favorite book tests you perform? I've been performing the Babel book test and the Pi Digits recently. AAA book test is my go-to. So Mark Paul's AAA, because it's impromptu, right? Call stop. Remember that word. Good to go. So I love AAA. That would always be my go-to. I think, and it's funny, the repertoire video that was supposed to come out tomorrow was on a book test routine. And it's loosely based off a book test from Practical Mental Magic called Whim of Tituba. And so if you own this book or you're part of my Mentalism course, if you check out, I've taught the Whim of Tituba already, because we're almost through all of the book test chapter. So I've almost taught every book test. But if you read it, the problem is if you read Whim of Tituba from Practical Mental Magic, you'll say, it's not that good. Very complicated, a lot of setup. I completely streamlined it, changed it totally. So my version of the Whim of Tituba is insane. I love it. So good. Incredible. There's a couple of really sick variations or versions of book tests that I've taught on the Mentalism course there. I love Midas Touch, do it a ton. Can't wait for you to release the propless word guess. Yeah, man, I'm super excited about it too. If I'm being honest, it's probably not coming till at least next year. There's still a lot of work to be done on it, just in terms of I feel bad that I kind of teased it, because that's like, oh, you gotta wait so long. But the reality is, I got more work to do. I have more ideas with it. I want this to be a full project, not just like here's one thing you can do. I want to teach like 5 different propless effects using this concept. I already have like a propless hangman, which is super fun, where you're playing hangman with them. The game Hangman, so, they draw out the hangman board and you're playing it like all in your minds, and you can guess perfectly what the word is on their hangman board. So a lot of really cool stuff. I'm super excited to bring that out, but it's going to take time. What's your opinion about Pathfinder? I heard about Pathfinder, but I didn't pick it up. I can't really remember what exactly. Again, the ad copy was super well written. It had me super intrigued, but then I discovered kind of what it was. I was able to kind of get a sense, figure it out, and I wasn't sold on the method, I think. But I can't give you any feedback because I can't remember what it was. I don't even remember what the effect is. Maybe if you jog my memory, what's the effect of Pathfinder again? Like, I think it's another tool, but it used, I don't know. Anyway, do you ever think of going on Got Talent shows to perform? Yeah, actually, Canada's Got Talent has reached out to me twice over the last 2 years asking me to go on, and I said no both times. Yes, I am interested. Am I interested right now? The thing with the Got Talent shows, guys, you have to understand is it is still TV, right? So, like, maybe you didn't even know that they reach out to people to go up and perform, right? Like, maybe, like, they do, right? Like, they have, producers and people casting. Like, they have a vision for the show, and they're looking for people to fit that vision, right? So I'm grateful that they reached out and want me on the show, and part of me would love to go on. But again, it's why did they want me? What did they like? And I don't know the answer to these questions, but I would just have to make sure it's the right time, the right reasons, and I'm going to be portrayed in the right way. Because honestly, I don't have control over how I get portrayed. Like, I can only control the performance, but I don't get any say in the edit. And how do they want to make me the guy everyone dislikes? Do they want to make me the guy everyone likes? Do they want to make me, come up with this story, this sob story? Like, what do they want, right? Like, these shows aren't, the results aren't scripted, but the the vision of the show, or the how the it's not again it's not really, it's hard to say it's scripted, but the producers just massage it to turn out the way they want, right? Or to appear the way they want. I don't mean turn out like who wins, because that part's legit, like there's audience voting, but how the stories and you know the how the episodes look and play and all that. So ultimately, I haven't done it. I was thinking about it seriously this year, but ended up not like, I got to find the time to put the acts together. I have some ideas of what I would do, you know, but I'd like to get a couple of people helping on the back end with the consultation. I think you guys probably know exactly who I'm hoping to get helping me with it. But so you never know. Maybe just we'll have to see. There's a lot of things that would have to kind of go right as well, and I'd have to be really happy with the acts I'm performing, because it is different, right? I don't love performing on stage, not because I can't. It's just not. I much prefer being close up and, you know, experiencing the magic, having people feel it with me, right? So, I will wait as long as I need for the word yes. Sounds like the Holy Grail. Yeah, man, I don't want to go out there and say it's the Holy Grail, but it sure feels like it to me. I mean, to me, being able to walk up to anyone and guess a word they're thinking of, and it's not one of those like, oh, they're like severely restricted, right? It's literally think of a word, right? So that's really cool. Like, there's some lines of scripting that you use to, I don't want to say narrow it down, but to just not have them think of like the most obscure thing possible that you don't, because it basically you won't be able to guess the word if you don't know what it is, right? That's like the one, but that's kind of true about anything. Like, even if you peek something on a billet and you have no idea what that says, you're gonna have a hard time revealing it, right? With this, because it's like a language, if they're thinking of like, you know, some crazy word, even if you know what it is, but it's like extremely obscure, right? And you would never in a million years think of it, you're not going to be able to translate the language, basically, if that kind of makes sense. So there is a little bit of scripting that I want to be upfront about it. There's a little bit of scripting that you use, like, you know, think of an object, something that anyone could visualize. So that, again, that's literally anything. Like, it could still literally be anything, but it's just something that there's like a visual, easy visualization with, so they don't think of like, you know, the Andromeda Galaxy, or like something that's like a little bit more obscure. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's these little psychological lines that kind of just put them into a more like something I could guess kind of box, if that kind of makes sense. I would love to see you in a Got Talent. Yeah, me too, man. I think it would be a lot of fun. I'm hoping it works out one day. I mean, I got the call, so I feel like, you know, they're definitely interested. It's just I gotta put it all together. You know what I mean? By the way, the one I had masterclass is pure gold. Already using it in my routines. That's so awesome, man. I'm really glad to hear that. You know, I've linked in the comments, guys, if you are interested. The pinned comment is to unlock the one I had masterclass. There's two ways to get it. You can get it on a month-to-month basis on the Wizard tier of my membership, or you can go buy lifetime access on my website. So for me, I'm a lifetime access guy. I don't even, like, if there was a way to buy Netflix for life, I would do that. Like, I just never am a fan of like subscription services myself. Like, that's just like a personal preference. I always would rather spend more money and just buy it once. So I felt like some people must be in that same sentiment. That's why I put it out in two places. So if you are interested, you know, the thing is, this masterclass is so big that it's like, I just don't see how you could like consume all of it in 1 month and then, you know, like actually use it, and like you're gonna want to come back to it. So like for me, like, that's why I was like, I think it makes sense of having a lifetime option too, rather than just like month to month. But totally up to you. Couple of options there. Is there a schedule for the jams? No, there's no schedule. All I can say is they usually happen Saturdays around this time, 1, 2, or 3 p.m. Eastern. The reason I don't do a regular schedule is because I don't always know when I'm going to be free on Saturdays. But I try to do about one a month. That's usually what I try to do for the lives. So anyway, if you want to, the best way to find out is to turn on the notifications on the channel. So go to the notification bell and set it to all. Or the next part would be going to my website and signing up for my email list. So if you scroll down to the bottom of my website in the footer, there's like a little box you can put in your email, and then usually I send out an email the night before I do a live. When are more card magic videos popping? There's still just as many card magic videos as ever coming for the channel. Nothing's changed. It's just the last few, I guess, have been a bit more mentalism focused. I just want to look at some of the videos. So I had the trailer for the One Ahead Masterclass, and then I had the One Ahead Mentalism 101 video. Then I had the Show Me a Trick Tee trailer, and then the competition winner announcement, and then it was a card magic video. So lots more card magic. Don't worry about that. It's not going anywhere. Though if you guys didn't see the Show Me a Trick Tee, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. So this is something, believe it or not, that's been out for a little while. But this is the Show Me a Trick Tee. So if you go over to shop on my website, the Show Me a Trick Tee. So this is a really, really cool project. This is something that I actually released like 3 or 4 years ago with the launch of my website, but I didn't properly release it. It was just there. I just put it on my website. It didn't have a proper trailer, didn't have proper ad copy. It just was there, right? And what it is, it's kind of the ultimate magic t-shirt. This is like, honestly, might be my favorite thing I've released. It's just so fun. Basically, it's a 3-phase routine built into a t-shirt. So you literally, ultimate everyday carry, you put on the shirt, you leave the house, and you have a trick on you, right? So basically, it's got a 3-phase routine. I got a couple of reviews here. Several people have picked it up. And people are loving it. Fantastic shirt. The other great thing it does is it fixes approach anxiety. One of the things I get asked the most on the channel is, how do you approach people? What do you say when you perform magic? Well, this says asked to see a magic trick in huge bold letters on the back of your shirt. So you don't, I promise you, do not wear this shirt if you're not ready to perform. Like, if you walk out of the house with this, you will have so many people coming up to you. It's almost overwhelming, right? You have to, it's crazy. You have to change, you have to bring a change of clothes. I wore this, I filmed some street magic 2 weeks ago, and I wore this, and I performed, for 4 hours straight, and I not once approached a group. And I'm doing 15-20 minutes per group. So that was just how many groups were just lining up because they saw the shirt. Hey, can I see magic trick? Then I'd walk for a minute, and another group would come up to me and be like, oh, okay, let me get a drink of water, Speaking of water, I should have one now, but it was overwhelming. And so it's just really a ton. I see Blue Apple says the t-shirt would probably be one of my favorite things, but it's in English. Yeah, I get it. I don't know what language you are in. At the end of the day, it is in English, so I haven't really considered doing it in other languages. I guess I could, but as of right now, that's not in the plans. I am considering doing a hoodie version. I have had several people ask already for a hoodie. I don't know. It never occurred to me, but I will consider doing that. And then I'm also considering anyway, no, I'm not going to say that yet. I'm considering another version. It's not a different language, but potentially maybe some customization. But I'm not sure if I want to do that yet, but maybe down the line. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys a quick live performance because I just think this is such an awesome trick.
This guy was a magician.
To not go for they go. I know it's kind of stupid. It's stupid to me.
Uncut live performance.
So if I was walking down the street and you guys came up behind me, what's the first thing you would ask me?
That didn't work. I thought it was playing for you guys. Okay, let's do it this way.
I was walking down the street and you guys came up behind me, what's the first thing you would ask me? You want to see a magic trick? You want to see a magic trick, right? There, a magic trick. I know, it's kind of stupid. It's a stupid joke. Okay, here's what I want to do for real. If you, I'm going to have you guys think of a card, okay? But people, they tend to not go for like, or they go for something, but it's not really random, right? They go for very similar choices. Like, if I had you name a suit, they'd say like spades, for example. So like, if you named a suit, what would you say? Hearts. Hearts, okay, great. And now you, how about you? You got to go. No, hold on. We're going to go for a value now. He's got the suit. Don't say it. I want you to keep it in your head. Think of a new value. Okay, just in your head. So we got a value of hearts. How crazy would it be if I had your card printed on my shirt?
Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy, right? Watch. Your card. Okay, no, I'm playing. For real. I know, I have to do a few little magician jokes. No, I don't. I'm 25, brother.
So funny.
It's a task. The task in the beard.
Than me. You look like my dad, bro.
I hope in a good way.
In a good way. You love the beard. The beard, bro.
Okay.
You fucking like me.
Listen. So for real though, what was your card?
3 of clubs.
Three with the value. He had the heart. He had the suit. So 3 of
hearts.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Somewhere.
Hey. Yo, what's that?
So that is it, guys. It is crazy. Like, for me, it's just so fun. Like, I love leaving the house wearing this shirt. Hold on, let me get the camera full screen. There we go. I love leaving the house with this shirt because, one, you got the ask to see a magic trick, so I don't have to approach anyone. People come up to me, which, I mean, I have no problem approaching, but it's just so easy. 2, when they ask to see the magic trick, you go right into the routine. Oh, you want to see a magic trick? You turn around, you show it says a magic trick on the front of your shirt. It's a stupid joke. They laugh. Then you do the second phase. Hey, think of a card. And I said, how crazy would it be if I had your card printed on my shirt? They say, yeah, that would be insane. You turn to the sleeve and you lift it and it says your card on their shirt, right? It's the 52-to-1 style kind of gag. But that gets a crazy laugh. That's like my favorite moment of the trick because people, they just like, oh, I really wanted to see a magic trick. Like they kind of get almost like deflated. They're like, oh, I really thought you were going to show us something. And then you say, well, what was your card? And they tell you and you actually reveal their card on your shirt. It's mind-blowing. So, you know, and all you need is the shirt, nothing else. So it's awesome. I really love the Show Me a Trick tee. So that just launched a couple of weeks ago. And I redid the whole back end of the project. So I redid the the project, the delivery format. I actually redid a whole bunch of stuff on my website. So I see that Blue Apple says, I bought your J30 ACAN project. I was always a person of ACANs, but this is another level. So simple. Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm glad you like J30 ACAN. If you could leave a review over on my website, if you go over to the J30 ACAN page and there's leave a review, I would really appreciate that, man. I just launched reviews like a couple of months ago, so like probably before you even bought it. There wasn't, or when you bought it, there wasn't any review option, but I added that on my website. So if you could leave one on the J30 ACAN, I would really appreciate that. But yeah, J30 ACAN, I like that too. I redid. So the way I used to deliver projects, if you bought something from me, again, I'm a one-man show. I'm figuring this out as I go, some of it, right? So like I would send you either like a link or like a download link. Like the original J30 ACAN was a download. So you'd get a download. But like my website would only let me like deliver projects at like 1 gigabyte, which is like way too small for the videos. So I'd have to like give you like the bad quality, right? It had to be like 480p. So you'd be watching like these bad quality, like it was filmed in 4K, but then I could only send it to you. So I had to fix that. So then I was doing YouTube delivery. But then one, you run into the issue of like YouTube links are very easy for people to share. So there's the piracy, but then there's also like you can't download it. So there was like all these problems. So then I was like, well, how can I do it? So I looked at how some other people are doing it, and I've built web pages now for each of my projects hidden on the back end of my website. So now you get a password and an access code, and you can go to the website, access the project, and it has a project page. The great thing is I can keep updating that page. I don't have to resend out new links and new videos, and everything's more organized, and it's much better delivery now, and it's high quality. So yeah, I mean, Blue Apple, I'm sure you've seen the new J30 ACAN page. I sent out probably like a month ago the new access information, and I've updated, like I added in how I do the blank deck variation, because I didn't really explain it very well in the original version of the tutorial. So I've updated a lot of stuff on the back end. Same thing, Show Me a Trick Tee has its own delivery page now. You got live performances, you got, you know, the trick itself, the tutorial, you got extra resources, and then all my masterclass projects, if you buy the lifetime access, it's all the same. Your t-shirt would be one of my favorite things, but it's in English. Problem is I speak Hebrew, but no one speaks it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, it'd be too hard to do it in other languages, I think, in terms of just like how many different languages I'd have to do it in to probably make it worth it. But maybe, you never know. Maybe down the line. How do you deal with heckling in your performances? Recently, that's the problem I've been dealing with. Any advice for me? Well, if you could give me like maybe a bit more specifically the type of heckling you're receiving. So I have a video in my How to Make Your Magic Better series all about heckling. So if you go to my How to Make Your Magic Better playlist, I think it's around episode 20. It might be episode 20. It's all about hecklers. So I discuss, and the reason, sorry, I ask you what type of heckling you're receiving is because there's different types of hecklers and you need to handle them differently. So in that video I break down the 3 different types of hecklers. You kind of have like the arrogant heckler, the inquisitive heckler, the stupid heckler, right? There's like different types, and it's basically it's the reason that people are heckling. They fall into these categories based on the reason they're heckling, like what's motivating them, and then I talk about how to solve them. So I'd check out that video, but high level with hecklers, you want to have a trick that can, you know, kind of shut them up, I guess. So like I always like doing like, okay, really convincing them I'm going to read their mind. Like, okay, look, I'm going to try this with you. Think of anything you want. Now look, in order for, and then, you know, you go through like really, really amp it up and then say, okay, here's what we're going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Hold up your hand like this. Okay, good. Now I'm going to try to read what's on your hand. Actually, go like this for me. Just hold your hand right here. And if you really sell it, they'll just listen and they'll do this. And then you just leave them. You say, okay, you know what? I'm going to get back to you in a minute. Just keep focusing on your word. And then you just start performing other stuff, and they're standing here with their hand over their mouth. It's kind of dumb, but it's kind of funny. And they'll be like, are you going to do it? I'm like, yeah, stay like that. You're doing perfect, right? And you just leave them like that. So something like that to disarm them. That's good for like the arrogant type hecklers. The inquisitive people are generally literally just interested. So sometimes giving them a peek behind the curtain can help. Like just showing them a little like either pseudo reveal or a kind of, oh man, I see a review just came in for J30A can. Blue Apple, if that is you, I'm assuming it is. Thank you very much, my friend. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, let me read it for you. Yeah, it was you. Thank you, man. He said, so this is for my J30A can project review by Blue Apple. He says, too simple. I usually, too simple in a good way. I realized when I said it, that's the title of it. It's too simple. I usually struggle with these kind of tricks because they're often so hard, but this one is surprisingly simple. I was able to perform it right after the teaching. I couldn't believe how amazing it looked. Reed is an incredible teacher, clear, engaging, and effective. Highly recommended. Thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate that. I am going to respond to that review right after this live. Thank you so much. With these arrogant... Ugh, need water. I talk too much. I'm too loud. That's a problem. I'm like screaming. I don't know why I always talk so loud. So, how long are we going? An hour 25. Well, if questions keep coming in, we might go for another half hour. If things slow down, maybe we'll go another 10, 15. So it's all up to you how long we keep this going. Chris, what's going on, man? Hey. Chris, man, I'm waiting for this Jal Miranda thing with Craig Petty or whatever. I don't exactly know what it is. I kind of know. I think I have an idea. It looks pretty cool, man. I'm waiting for that. When's that coming? Give us the exclusive here. Hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, I was talking about hecklers. So like, if you have the more inquisitive type, heard you've been performing double feature. Yes, double feature is crazy, man. Look, I've been I've got a couple of live performances for the trailer and stuff, and I'm going out again in a couple of weeks to get some more. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's been double feature is awesome. Yeah, my button is the what's the it's the button thing. Yeah, I know that. What's it called? Does it have what's the official name? It comes out next month on the 20th. There you go. I don't know if that's exclusive. Is that exclusive? Hopefully that's exclusive. Chris would. I could give an I can give an exclusive of what it is. Yeah, man. It looked really cool. I'm excited for it. 20th of October. Be ready. I'm excited for it. I think I have an idea of what it is. I feel like I heard somewhere. Maybe you told me. Yeah, I think you told me actually when we were messaging. Anyway, guys, yeah, if you don't know, Chris, James, João Miranda have this pretty neat, pretty cool looking thing coming out October 20th. So I'm excited. You have to check out Unexpected Delivery. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've heard really good things. I think for me, if I'm being honest, I think it's great. I think it's really good from what I've seen. I think for me, well, you know what? Okay, this is the part where I've torn. So any of those effects, like to me, that falls in the effect style of, what do you call it? Of Diverter and The Stranger, right? Where you have that's the style of effect that it feels like to me, right? And I love Diverter. That's the one that I often perform. The thing I liked about The Stranger, I didn't buy it, but I did the trial for a while. I did like the recordings, right, with The Stranger, where you have these pre-recorded, because then you don't need the accomplice, which is awesome, and something that I really value. So what I love about Unexpected Delivery is that I don't need the accomplice always ready. So that would be the thing that I've definitely considered. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. It's on the radar. If you guys don't know, Unexpected Delivery, it's by Gaz Cross, I believe. And it's a really cool idea. I think it's just an app that he built himself, and it's like you have someone pick a card or whatever, and you're going through your trick, and then you get like a call from like your Ring doorbell, you know, like you have those doorbell cameras, and you check in, and it's like a delivery guy, and the delivery guy reveals the card they're thinking of. So super cool concept, absolutely. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but it's on my radar. Just to finish, the thing about hecklers before I lose my train of thought, the inquisitive hecklers, you want to kind of either let them in a little bit behind the curtain, or one thing I find works really well is just having like a genuine like chat with them. Just be like, hey, I'm how do you say it? Let them in behind the curtain, but more of like on a person-to-person level. Like, hey, like I'm just doing my thing here. I know you want to figure it out. Trust me, we can chat after, and I'll talk to you. But just enjoy it for now. Just let everyone else enjoy it. And generally, if people are like a decent human, they'll like understand and they'll appreciate like, that person-to-person kind of interaction, right? And then when I say stupid hecklers, this is anyone who's like drunk or just like they don't know like for their own good what they're doing, that they're ruining anything. And for them, like generally I just like move on personally. Like I'm just not really interested in like performing for those kind of people, but at the end of the day, just something simple, quick, that they don't get to touch it is the best option. So Chris says this is Chris's new project. It's a red button, completely made for magic. Load any sound on it. The spectator makes the magic happen, but you have a remote control where you actually control it. You pop it open, and inside can be anything to be switched. So that's the part I knew. It takes any magic trick and enhances it to another level. Sounds awesome. What I knew was the switch part of it, right? I didn't know that it's called The Button. So The Button, October 20th. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know the whole sound part of it, but that's why I was wondering. I'm like, why is João involved in this? Because he usually does a lot of like, impressive build tech stuff, like with heavy metal and or the Leviosa, line there. So that makes sense. So it does have some tech involved. So that's awesome. That sounds really cool. So red button, made of magic. Load any sound onto it. Interesting. Huh. I'd be curious to. I'm very curious to see some of the routines with that and some of the performances. That'll be really cool to see. Is there a trailer coming out? There must be anytime soon. When's the trailer coming? Okay, so like taking a deck from the hand or stuff, trying to intentionally ruin a trick. Constantly change the number of the card. Okay, so if you have someone who's like taking the deck out of your hand, like that is just someone who is like disrespectful to a level of like they're not worth performing for. But I will say you like my philosophy. Trailer soon. Awesome. Glad to hear, man. I cannot wait to check that out. Should be super cool. So my philosophy on anything in magic, if something goes wrong when you're performing, you have to always look internally at yourself. So imagine you're doing a card trick, you know, at the end you reveal the card and they say, oh, that, you know, that's not my card. You know it's their card, you know, you peeked it or whatever, you know, but let's say they're convinced that it was another card, so they just forgot and they've somehow imagined that their card was something else. Unequivocally, there is no logical reason that that's your fault. That's totally on them. But if you want to learn and grow, the best thing you can possibly do is to internalize everything. Anything that goes wrong, always blame yourself. So if that person forgets their card and changes their mind, you need to say, well, I wasn't clear enough that they needed to remember it. I didn't emphasize enough, you know, either show other people or really lock in that card. Do not forget it. That's your fault. You need to work on the scripting. The reason that's so important is because then you can learn from every single mistake. So the reason I'm saying that is if you are finding your hecklers are like ripping the deck out of your hands, then more than likely, because I've literally never had that happen. Like no one's ever even really tried, right? Like someone might kind of reach a little bit, but they're not like ripping it out. I think you're probably giving them the feeling that they can get away with that. So you probably need to be a little bit more confident and like control the situation a little bit more, right? Make it feel like you're like, no, I'm not. I'm performing for you. The value in a magic performance is that you are performing for them. They're not. A lot of people think they're giving you their time. Like a lot of newer magicians, they feel like, oh, I'm shy because I got to ask them for their time. No. You are giving them the value for free, right? You're the one performing. So it's about flipping that value exchange in your mind that you're doing something for them, right? And so you need to really command that environment, command the room, and then the people are not going to try you, right? They're not going to play with you if you be a little bit more confident with it. So Chris, what does Chris have to say? The great thing is you can adapt it to any routine you want, but we include 25 different routines that include being AGT judge to mentalism. AGT judge to mental. Okay. I didn't know what you meant by that, but I think it must be something like you're judging them reading someone's mind, maybe? That sounds really neat. I'm curious. So I guess you can switch the sound. So the part I'm not quite grasping, Chris, is I get the switch, but the sound part of it. So you say I can control it. So do you mean like when the spectator clicks the button, I can choose what sound it plays? So then I guess they can think it's going to make one sound and yet it makes another? Or because if it's a button and I can choose when it makes the sound, well, if they don't push the button. Obviously, again, that's what I'm saying, I need to see it because I know it's hard to communicate over text, but it sounds super cool. My biggest worry is once we release the live footage and all the performances we have that people are going to accuse me of staging them. That's always a struggle, isn't it, when you got something great? We have people jumping over fences in some of the footage. People scream so loud they're getting kicked out of the place that they're at. When Craig sent me the footage, I thought to myself, people aren't going to believe this. People are going to think that these are actors, but they're not. Man, that sounds awesome. That sounds super cool. I mean, you know, Craig always gets great performance footage, and so that's going to be really cool to see. Craig and myself, I always get great performance footage. What's your opinion about Magic Pro Ideas apps? Magic Pro Ideas, they sound familiar, but I can't put my finger on who that is. Magic Pro Ideas, who is that? And what app do they make? Can you refresh my memory? Because nothing's coming to mind. Is there any prop that you use or used? I mean, I use a deck of playing cards. I use a Sharpie. I use billets. I assume that's not what you mean. My phone. Okay, prop-wise, once in a while I'll take something out, but usually no. Like not in my own working stuff. Like right now I'm carrying this other David Jonathan thing around. it's a prop because I'm getting some live performances for him for the trailer and that. So that I carry around with me right now, but that's not something I carry regularly. I'm trying to look through my magic box. It's in the closet over here. I've been bringing heavy metal around with me, you know, at certain gigs. So that's something I've been carrying around. That's awesome. Chris James and John Miranda, another effect of theirs. I still haven't been able to get this effect on camera. I know I talked to you about this, Chris, like when I first picked it up, but I have this awesome routine where you're guessing a thought of song with the invisible AirPods, but it's combining heavy metal. It's super cool, and I've been dying to get it on camera. It just hasn't worked out yet. Anytime I've performed it, there hasn't been a camera. But I am going out shooting in about I think on Friday actually, I'm going to go shoot some more. So hopefully that's the day, because I really want to show you that. It's pretty crazy. What else? I carry envelopes, like little envelopes to put cards in, just to enhance reveals. And then like a couple of like gimmicked cards, like I carry Face Off, I carry like this Angle Z card you guys probably have seen me do. I used to carry Double Cross a lot, not so much these days. Pro Ideas is Unlock Any Web, and yeah, I haven't checked out any of their stuff, to be honest. I've heard of them, I've seen some of those apps, but I never bought any of them, so I can't really say. So Chris says, so you could load any sound on it you want. So let's say you're doing Ambitious Card, and every time they hit the button, the magic happens. And there's a magical chime sound. Now you're ready for your finale. They go to hit the button, and it makes a broke sound, something shattered. Or maybe the sound is the battery's dying. Okay, cool, I got it. You have control over when that happens. Okay, nice. You play dumb, and they say, oh, okay, so it is what I was thinking. So you control what sound it plays, okay. You play dumb and say, oh, I know what it is. You pop the top off the button, and they see a card in there, and you could either dump it out onto their hands or hand it over to them. It'll be their card. Yeah, see, that's what I knew about it. I knew it was like a kind of card to impossible location type thing. It'll be their card, something written on it. Whether it be something written on it for Mentalism or a playing card, so much more, but that's what I got for now. Yeah, okay. No, it sounds really cool, man. I'm really excited to see those live performances. Looks awesome. Okay. All right. Well, we got a little more time. If anyone has any other things, questions, things they want some help on, or anything. In the meantime, I did want to touch on DFBX. So, if you don't know DFB, I mean, it's a staple mentalism app. I haven't had it ever. Like I never picked it up because I always was using inertia and other reasons, and finally I decided to. So I got DFBX, which is just like the pro version. It's got some cool features, some cool integrations, but I've been playing around with a lot of cool routines for DFB, and I got a couple that I wanted to share with you guys what I'm currently in my first like month with DFB doing with it. So let me show you. So these are the notes that I keep. So I have 6 different notes, and the cool thing with DFB is like once they say the number, every single list is updated to that number to have the force item. So now I can go into any one of these routines I want. So the first thing I'm using it for is something actually I'm not going to talk about. Sorry. So the other thing, let's skip that one. But the other things I'm using it for, one is this fortune routine, which I think is so fun. So you basically say, I have 100 fortunes written down on my phone. And the thing is, I don't know anything about DFB. I'm not part of the group really. I just got it, so I don't know if someone's done something like this before. But I think it's really clever. And I created this all just with the built-in AI to generate all of this so that I don't have to sit there and write out 100 fortunes. But it's like, okay, I have 100 fortunes, right? And I want you to, I find they're actually really accurate. So I have 1 to 100, so you pick a number, and whatever fortune you have will be will come true. So then I open up the fortunes list and I say, okay, so you know, you could have had any one of these. So what if you would have got the first, like, read the first few. What do they say? It'll say like, oh, you'll sneeze. So the first one is you'll sneeze during a job interview, spraying coffee on the interviewer's face, right? Number 2, your next hookup will leave you stuck in a too tight latex bodysuit, chafing horribly. Like, there are all these, like, either kind of risky or like really dirty or like nasty, disgusting fortunes, right? And every single one they can read. Like number 12, your new tattoo will be misspelt and swell up, right? Like all these crazy fortunes. And then they go to the one at their number, and it's the only positive one on the entire list. So if let's say they said number 33, for example. So I think it's really fun because you play it up. You're like, look, any one of these, and then it says, what does yours say? And it says, you'll find true love with a partner who makes your heart race and your soul sing, leading to a lifetime of passion and joy, right? Like, and it's like, well, and what if you went one less? 32, your shoelace will snag in an escalator, causing a public pileup. Or 34, you'll spit gum into your date's hair during a passionate kiss. Like, you know what I mean? It's just really funny because you have like, so it's just an anytime, anywhere, quick little fortunes routine. If you're interested in any of these routines and you have DFBX, or I don't know if they also work with DFB, but you can send me an email and I can actually send you the trick to basically import into your DFB. And then the other one that I really, really like, I don't even want to give this one away because it's too good, but I will because I'm a nice guy. I use this for corporate events. I call it Boss Roulette. So I have a list. It's called Boss Roulette. So again, same sort of setup. So it's like, okay, I have this list of 100 different things that you can do for your employees. So you do this for the CEO, for the VIP, for the boss of whatever corporate event you're at. You're like, okay, and you do this, right? All their employees are there, right? And you're like, okay, I've got 100 things on this list of things that you could do for your employees. And you make it sound like they're good things, right? 100 things that you can do for your employees. And I want to make a deal. Whichever one you choose, you have to do it. You get them to agree. You say, name a number from 1 to 100. They do. You pull up the list. You say, okay, so just, you know, let's say they said 33, right? So if you would have picked like one of the first few, just read some of these. Deny vacation requests constantly. Micromanage every task. Publicly humiliate employees. Take credit for employees' work. Number 5, murder. Like all these crazy things. They go down. It's like, okay, 32. Give false or misleading performance reviews. If you would want one more, 34. Steal ideas without acknowledgement. But 33, you pick 33. What does it say? It says give $1,000 bonuses, right? So it's like they're all bad. You get a lot of comedy that you can build into this routine, a lot of laughs, and then you can hit them with the $1,000 bonuses, which is also a funny laugh because the boss is going to be like, oh, whoa, 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 you know, kind of. Anyway, really funny routine. And then I've got 2 that allow me to save any routine. So these, if you know DFB, these use the manual input. So if something goes wrong, I have a random words list, which just have 100 random words, but it'll insert any word that I type at the number they say. So now, if they have a word in mind and I can't guess it, or I make a mistake, I can say, well, what was your word? And they'll say it, and I'll say, well, this is the crazy thing. I actually have a list of random words. Can you name a number from 1 to 100? And then I can go to that list and save any mentalism routine gone wrong, because their word will be at that number. I also have a list of baby names. I can do the same thing with names, right? So I have baby names, and then whatever name they say goes at that number, and pretty awesome. So I've been having a lot of fun with DFB lately. Okay, I'm gonna, seems like we only got a couple people left in here, so I think I'll wrap up for today. If you have any last questions, drop them in. I'll stay on another minute or so. What's your opinion about not ESP? I think it's really cool. I think it's a good casual trick. I'm not sure I would perform it at gigs, maybe, but I think there's a lot of memory work involved, you know, to do it the best way. And so for me, I prefer my Propolis drawing duplication, but you know, Jake's a great guy, and it's a really, really great tool, especially for, you know, private performances. I think it's really cool, super clean. What is the tattoo you use most for your magic? I don't use any of my tattoos for magic except my J30 ACAN tattoo. So I have the Jack and the 30, so I do an ACAN where they think of any card, think of any number. It's my J30 ACAN, which is available on my website. You can deal down to that card, that number, they find it. It's the only card in the entire blank deck. Amazing kicker. and then I can reveal that I also had predicted it as a tattoo. But a lot of people think I got these for the trick, but funny enough, these tattoos mean nothing related to magic. I got them long before I ever created J30 ACAN. Then one day I was staring at them and I'm like, this would make a heck of a kicker for an ACAN. How can I accomplish it? And that's what started the development of J30 ACAN. So there you go. But yeah, I think well that's good. I think we'll probably wrap this up for today then. A lot to chat about. I gotta get editing tomorrow's video and all of that. So, you know, I think we'll wrap it up there. So thank you guys so much for joining this Jamz episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, always fun for me. I think this is the first live where we didn't go down to the card table. No one asking about cards, all mentalism. So that was fun. Thank you guys so much for joining. You know what? These are always a lot of fun. So stay tuned. We'll do another one of these on a Saturday in a couple of weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks. And we'll go from there. So if you want to know when these lives are coming, join my email list on my website and hit the notification bell on the channel. If you'd like to get the ultimate resource, the definitive resource for mentalism, the One Ahead Masterclass is available right now on my YouTube membership at the Wizard tier, or you can buy lifetime access on my website. Go check out all my other projects. The Show Me a Trick Tee is also just launched. If you're interested, all of that is there. And with all that said, guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video.